All right. How y'all doing today? My name is Dariyon from Dariyon Talks, and this is gonna be the very first podcast with special guests. So, special guest, you want to explain yourself, explain your name and everything?
Yeah, my name is Vianni Kelso, and I guess I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, or Knoxville, Tennessee, either or. But yeah,
She from
that's who I
Knoxville.
am.
She's from Knoxville. We're not gonna support the other.
I'm from Knoxville. Yeah, I guess we could say that for
We're
sure.
not gonna support the other one. Okay. Anyway, so we already like okay. So tell us about yourself. Like, what do you do for right now?
Yeah, so I currently live in New York City. I went to school for acting and performing arts at AMDA, and I graduated from the acting program. And I currently am an event coordinator for the school. So I graduated, they offered me a position, and it was awesome. And so now I coordinate events, not only for just my company, but I do small little gigs here and there, like birthday parties and little things that people might ask of me. But yeah, I've been living in the city for about 6 years now, which is really amazing. And yeah, I love it so much. I can't imagine being anywhere else.
Except for Knoxville, but we're not gonna talk about that. Anyway. Anyway, well, okay, so like you said, you live in New York. So by you living in New York, you coming from, let's say, a small town. Did you have any disadvantages coming to a big old ginormous city like New York? Come from Knoxville to New York.
That's a great question. It's a really different adjustment for sure. Moving from a small town to the Big Apple, it's so different. Like from the cultures, the food, the languages, and even just the cost of living in itself is quite expensive. So, it was a huge adjustment for sure. But I must say, I think being open to it, moving from different places from Tennessee to Mississippi, it kind of had me prepared to kind of just jump right in. So yeah, it wasn't too crazy of an adjustment for me, but for some people, it's a lot. It's yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of like it's putting that background of moving from like Mississippi to Knoxville. You already knew that like once I go to New York, it's gonna be a bigger change. You already kind of
Right.
prepared yourself for that.
For
So
sure.
right. So that's good. So like you said, you're an event planner. So what kind of events do you be doing at the moment?
Yeah, so no, that's a great question. So like I said, I was planning a wedding at the moment, and then something happened, COVID happened, so like they postponed the wedding to a different time. Hopefully I still get to plan it, because like I started working on it and I really did some work, so I'm like, I hope we still do this. Can I do those kind of events? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
You hope they didn't call off the wedding during COVID.
I hope not. I don't think so. They're in Vegas, so I don't think they called off anything. I just think that they just postponed it for a little bit.
So you did,
and then
so you do work with famous people. That's what you said.
I wish, well, potential famous people, because it's a performing arts conservatory. So whoever comes through could potentially someday be famous. I honestly don't personally know any famous people. I've seen them walking across the streets. Actually, I kind of do know maybe I do know maybe a famous person. You're right. But I don't really know too many, but it just really depends on who you meet. Honestly, it only takes a second for your moment, and anyone can potentially make it. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's a good point that you said. Like you, no matter who you meet, you got 15 seconds to make a good first impression. You, no matter what you do, because within 15 seconds, they already know if they like you or if they don't like you or everything. So, and that's
Yeah.
so okay. So during your upbringing in Knoxville or Mississippi, did you have any problems or anything that you thought it was a challenge to pick the career to do what you do, to pick the career that you do?
For most definitely. So finances have always been an issue growing up. but I knew that I wanted to go to New York City from middle school for that first trip. I knew that this was the city and place for me. So that was definitely one of them. But I didn't allow that situation to stop me from what I wanted to do. But finances was definitely one of them where I'm like, am I going to make it in New York City? But I knew if I didn't, it would either be stay in Mississippi or Tennessee and not ever get the opportunity to live out my dream. I'm still working to potentially be a singer or an actress or whatever the case may be here in the city. COVID happened, life happens, and bills happen. But I'm not totally discouraged on what my future looks like in that. So I just need to see. But yeah, I think that for sure. And just like the adjustment, not really having anyone here, like moving from Mississippi to New York at 18 is huge because you really don't know anyone. Like I didn't have any family here. I didn't have any friends. It was more of my mom drops me off and it's like, figure out what you're going to do. You got this. So I think that was also a challenge, just getting adjusted and acclimated. So yeah, for sure.
For my people that's watching this right now, me and Vianna go way back, and like she said, like she way back. Okay, we go way back, and
right.
At the end of the day, I knew she was gonna be amazing. Like she said, she wanted to be a singer, and she could sing. She can sing. She can rip those vocals. She could sing. So like, okay, we'll go back to what you said when your mama dropped you off and everything. So when your mama dropped you off, was it hard to find stability at the time? It was most likely hard, right?
Oh, I can honestly say that. Like, I am coming from a single mother with 3 children. My mom had my sister, myself, and my brother. And it was definitely a struggle. So yeah, financially being dropped off, I think I actually came with $40. And then the rest of it was just kind of like waiting for financial aid or waiting for different things to get in. But my mindset was like, it's either you stay or you go home. So it was more of like, what opportunities can you take and run with them? So when I first moved to New York City, I am not ashamed to say this. When I first moved, I was a student and I cleaned toilets. I pulled different things for different shows. I was a hall monitor. I was the first person into the school and I was the last person to leave every day. All A's, still had time for my classes, still had time for rehearsals. And that is how I made my money. Like I wasn't getting money from my family. Like they weren't sending me money every week. Because my friends would be like, my mom just put some money in my account. I'm like, good for you. But like, I gotta go clean the toilet and I have to go figure out what I'm gonna eat tonight. Like, you know, so yeah, it was.
Won't even let me borrow some of her food stamps. So I know exactly what you mean. Like, I know exactly what you mean. And at the end of the day, I feel like that determination is what people need nowadays. They need that determination to get the job done and get everything. Because like my dream is to be a chef. I can't be a chef. I can't be a chef just sitting on the couch looking at stuff. So if I want to be a chef, I gotta know about food. I gotta constantly be cooking. I gotta constantly be working on techniques and everything. So it's just like people have this mindset, oh, all I gotta do is just pay my bills and I'm be straight. I'm trying to be successful. I'm like, if you follow my Instagram, my tag says trying to be better than Gordon Ramsay. I know for a fact I'm never gonna reach there because but at the end of the day, I have a goal, and that's my goal right there is to be better than him. And people, and so while we on goals, do you have any type of goals that you have achieved and or that you still trying to achieve that you know that you're going to achieve?
That is such a deep question. And so I'm noticing as I get older and as time goes by, my goals and mindset have definitely changed. So what I wanted when I was 18 is different than now where I'm 24. I must say what some of my goals that I have achieved are just, you know, one, coming to New York City, and two, being able to leave the country. Like, some of my family members and friends have never left the country. So just being able to actually experience and leave the country and go to at least 3 different places, it's like a huge accomplishment for me. I mean, before the pandemic, I would have gone to more places, but I'm still working on that. I get to go to Jamaica this year, so I'm really excited. I know, I'm like so excited about that. But as far as like other career goals, I have been able to write music for a all-female cast like a long time ago. Any recent things that I really would like to accomplish is I would like to really get back into modeling. Like, that was something that I was really sticking to for a long, good chunk of 2020 and then a little bit of 2019, and then COVID happened, and then here we are. But my goal, I would love to be in New York Fashion Week and just to be a part of that plus size modeling. Like, I would love to do that, as well as just continuing to write for different productions and artists. So those are some goals. Another goal is to be able to stay in New York. Like, I don't want to go back. Like, I want to stay as long as I possibly can. And
you doing good right now. 6 years. I would
yeah,
give up. I'm like, yeah, to be honest with you, I would give up after 2, and I'm like, but you know me, I came from a big city. I came from St. Louis. St. Louis is a huge city, and
right.
I'm like, nah, that ain't me. I like the small city. I like the small city because, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I hate driving. I just hate driving.
I hate driving too. Like, that's why I don't have a desire to get a car or anything like that. For sure. Definitely not.
Because when I went to Illinois, I went to Illinois to visit my grandmother, right? The closest store was 20 minutes away driving, and then go downtown is 30 minutes in for everything. Who wants to drive an hour to do the things? That's just something I don't like to do. And then it's just like, but that's my crazy. So, yeah. Well, I got a couple more questions, and then
Yeah.
I can let you go. I have another question. So, even though, like you said, you came here $40 in your pocket and everything, and you told me the struggles and everything, what can you tell people to like give a piece of advice for people? Like, if they going through something that's like a challenge and stuff, and they be like, what can you give to them so they can overcome that challenge?
Oh, that's a really, so there are multiple pieces of advice that help me get through my day to day or just in general in life. One of them is like, if I don't accomplish something or I see someone has something that I really wanted, one, it's not for me. What is for Vianni is what you will receive, and what is for each individual you will gain. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. So that's one of the pieces. When I don't get a job or I don't get something that I want when auditioning or something like that, it's not for me. Whatever God has for me or whatever it's supposed to be for Vianni is for me. Another thing is just keep your eye on the prize. I know like people say that all the time, but it's like, it's very easy to lose focus on what you want, who you are, and what you stand for. And if you can continue to keep your feet on the ground, whether it's for what you religiously believe in or what your values are for yourself or for your career, you can really accomplish pretty much anything. So that's another piece of advice. And then the last one is surround yourself with positive people, influences, and media. When you allow negativity to be a part of your everyday life and how you live and how you function, it can be really easy to be sucked into it. And it's a challenge to get out of it sometimes. So just really surrounding yourself with the best positive influences that you possibly can. There we go. We can get words out. Can we get words?
I was struggling with words too. You saw me blah 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 blah. I'm like, I was struggling with words too. So yeah, and that's really good pieces of advice. And then just one more question, and I'll let you go. If you say you for 6 years ago, would you change anything, or would you keep it the same?
That's a great question. I honestly wouldn't change anything. This journey has been a roller coaster. It has been a gift. And I am so thankful for every experience, whether it be good or bad. It's really just your outlook on what the experience is. And
Right.
I'm thankful. So I wouldn't change a thing. Honestly, probably save some more money, not go out and spend too much money. But that's a whole nother story. But I would probably not change anything really. I would keep everything the same. Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving me your time. We possibly will do this again, like future,
Love to.
for
Would
future
love to.
something. So I'll just thank you for so much of your time, and just thank you for talking to my viewers, whatever they come. You know, this is a small channel. I ain't one of those big old channels, but whatever they come, I appreciate you talking to them.
Everything has a starting point. Every flower needs to grow with soil and water and light. So starting small is not an issue. You will someday be whatever you want to be. So keep that in mind.
See, this is why I did my first episode, y'all, because she is a genius. Well, she is a genius.
So
So,
yeah.
well, thank you again, and have a good night. Okay.